It's nice of you to come over on a rainy day like this.
I hear it never rains in Los Angeles.
The rainy season.
I was in New Orleans once, and everybody said it never snows. And it was snowing.
I was in New Orleans about 2 months ago. And I thought it was a beautiful town. Very strange. And I had a lot of fun there. Did you have a good time in New Orleans?
Oh, yeah. It's the only place I've ever been in that looks exactly like it's supposed to look, you know, from all the photographs.
You know, I was thinking about New Orleans last night. There's a bar called Bonaparte's. Did you go there?
No.
They have a fantastic mural done by a young artist who doesn't live in the city anymore. It's a picture of Napoleon in exile. And he's kind of sulking in this field, and there's a sword stuck in the ground in front of him. And then over to the left is the scenes from the some kind of you know, it's a war scene and people in sewers, and it's chaos and all that. You know, ghosts and shades and all. It's a beautiful mural. I can't get it out of my mind, actually.
Have you been traveling around a lot?
No, that was just a friend and I went to Atlanta for a film festival. We had a film entered there, and then we drove from Atlanta to New Orleans.
You had a film entered there?
Yeah.
What kind of film?
Well, it was a little 40-minute documentary on a rock and roll band traveling around the States. We shot about a year ago.
What, you mean on the Doors?
Yeah, it's called Feast of Friends. They showed it in the New York Film Festival, too. And so actually it was just an excuse to go to Atlanta, and then we drove to New Orleans from there. I dig the South.
You have any scenes on the road? While traveling, you know?
No. But one thing I do remember, Atlanta has the most amazing hotel you've ever seen. You walk in, and from the outside, it looks like any other large hotel, you know. And you get in and you look up, and it goes up about 27 floors, and the interior is like a Spanish courtyard. I mean, in architecturally, it's hollow. So all the rooms face each other across this vast garden arena. And the elevators are like kind of Victorian rocket ships. And they're glass. And so you go up to the restaurant on the penthouse level, and it's completely encased by glass.
When it goes up the outside of the building?
No,
that elevator?
No, the inside, see? And so you get this strange sensation, you know, rising up 27 floors in this glass elevator.
When you travel around by car, you didn't have any...
Oh, somebody jumped one time from the... Somebody jumped and landed, and they have a restaurant in the middle of it, and someone landed in the restaurant, and I hear it was really horrible.
Did you see Easy Rider?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Did you have any scenes like that at all?
No, I don't. I think that's an exaggeration, really. I don't know why the South has such a reputation, like, you know, but maybe these cliches are really true after all. I never really noticed that the South was any worse than any other part of the United States. Of course, I'm from there, you know, so I might be prejudiced. But I think it's a grotesque caricature. However, it is a strange territory, you bet.
How come you don't have an accent? if you're from the South.
Well, I don't know. How come I don't have an accent? Being from the South and all. No, I watch a lot of television. And I try and obey the norm, you know.
What?
That's what people in the Midwest and the South and all, and they call it, like the way people in California talk, they call it TV talk. You know, it's the way people talk on television, newscasters and commercials and actors and all that. It's TV talk.
The Doors going to be performing, going on tour again? Soon or what?
Well, the only thing we have planned is a gig in Madison Square Garden for 4 shows, 2 days, around January 17th, 18th, something like that.
Do you enjoy performing?
Yeah.
More than recording?
Well, I guess so. I do. I think it's more fun, you know, with a lot of people around. Recording studios tend to get a little dry and monotonous. Yeah, I guess the real fun is in performing.
Wait a minute, we're going to have to...
You can always edit this, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes when it's like right on a line, and it seems to be ringing right from there instead of from there. Wait a minute. I put the receiver on.
It's weird. The receiver's off and it still rings.
Maybe you can put all the lines on hold.
Yeah, could you put them all on hold? Because it seems to...
Take them all off?
Yeah, because it seems to be ringing right here.
Get the scissors.
Do you rehearse specially for a performance?
Nope.
Well, how do you decide what you're going to do? You just go out?
Well, we have a repertoire of 30 or 40 tunes, and so we usually plan, like in the dressing room before we go on, we usually plan, the first 3 or 4 songs, and then after that we just play it by ear. So we don't really know what we're going to do when we go out there.
How about in the recording studio? How do you work out what you're going to do?
Usually we rehearse a couple weeks, a month or so, until we have a considerable amount of material, and then we go in and do it. We don't... Well, on this new album, it's really strange. It went really quick, you know. We went in and we got like a song a day, which is kind of unusual. It was funny. The first album that we did in about 10 days, and then each succeeding album took longer and longer until the last one took about 9 months to do. And this one, we went in and we got a song a day. It was amazing. Partly because we went back to the original instrumentation, just the 4 of us and a bass player.
Why'd you decide to go that way?
I don't know. I think that phrase is the most horrible phrase in the English language. I don't know. It's terribly embarrassing.
When you're in the recording studio, are you aware that you're doing a hit single at any point?
No. We joke around about it a lot. But actually, we just do an album, and then every time we make a choice for a single, it usually turns out wrong. It's usually and so what we're going to do on this one is just put out the album, and let the public decide which one they like the best, and then we'll release that as a single.
Mm-hmm.
seems like the most realistic way to do it.
Who picked the singles before, though? The group?
Well, we pick them, but, we don't... I don't think we really have the key to the pulse of the nation, because we've made more mistakes than we've been right.
The underground press, I sort of felt, was a big reason why the Doors made it so big at the beginning. I mean, aside from the fact that you were all very good. I mean, the publicity has anything to do with it. It was that. And then after a while, that seems to have changed. And I generally read put-downs of the Doors now. Why?
I think... Oh, by the way, I remembered the name of that guy. It was Eric von Stroheim, the man you love to hate.
Right.
Yeah. I think we're the band you love to hate. So it's been that way from the beginning. We're universally despised. I kind of relish the whole situation.
But how did that start? Why? Why are you the band that everybody loves to hate?
Gee, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I think it's like, I was just up in San Francisco for another film festival, this Feast of Friends, this film. It was an audience that consisted mainly of young people, way under 30. Hip young people, street people. And they booed the film. And I think it's that we're on a monstrous ego trip, and people resent it. They hate us because we're so good.
Does it bother you at all when you read put-downs?
Yeah, it does. I wish they wouldn't do it. But freedom of the press and all that,
You say with a nasty glint.
I think maybe it will change. I think what it is, it's a question of longevity. It's like it's that old thing, like a first novel. They usually give the cat a break, and everybody kind of pats him on the back. And then the second one, they really chop him up. And then if he does a few more, and shows he has staying power, then... they say, well, welcome back to the fold. The human family embraces you. And I think it'd be the same way with us. We just have to hold out for a little while, and everyone one day will realize, wow, they're just like old friends. They've been around for years now, and, they're part of our national psyche. I guess we'll just, accept them, but now it's a little, we're kind of in between.
Some of the criticism has been about a kind of music. It seemed to have been, I don't know, rougher or maybe more revolutionary at the beginning, and then it seemed to have gotten more, I don't know, sweeter, more top 40. Were you aware of that happening?
I don't agree with that. I just think the music keeps getting better and better. It gets more subtle and more sophisticated, musically and lyrically. Besides, if you keep saying the same old thing over and over, I mean, it's bound to get boring, right? Who wants to hear revolution 24 hours a day?
No, I don't think that was it. I don't think it was just the lyrics or something. It had more to do with sort of that overall sound in the song "Hello, I Love You." That was one of the ones that I think you caught a lot of criticism for.
You know, that song, I wrote that very early, about 3 years ago. If you listen to the lyrics, you know, maybe it's the arrangement. I like it. Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you. Let me jump in your game. She's walking down the street, blind to every eye she meets. Do you think you'll be the guy to make the queen of the angels sigh? Forget the rest of it. Anyway, oh, do you hope to pluck this dusky jewel? I would, I wouldn't say that's such a bad lyric.
Maybe it was the arrangement then, but, it had a, I don't know, I remember when I first heard it, and then at the end of the song, the DJ said that was the Doors. I said, what? It didn't sound the same, or even like it. It wasn't just that I wanted to hear more of the same. There was almost no connection.
Yep, we're just full of surprises, Howard. Can I have some more coffee, Kathy? You make the best coffee. The best cake.
What kind of music do you listen to yourself?
Well, the only time I listen to music is on car radios when I'm driving around. Top 40 stuff. I don't listen to music that much. Every now and then I'll catch an act in public somewhere. I saw, when I was in Vegas, I saw Peggy Lee. And, what was that other band? I forget. They were, I'll go to clubs every now and then, but I don't listen to music that much. I'm not what you'd call a music buff.
Do you read a lot?
Nope, I don't read very much either. I used to, and then life got so interesting that I didn't need to anymore.
Do you write a lot?
Nope, I don't. I don't do much of anything, really. But I will, don't worry. I'll get back in the saddle, I've just been kind of lazy lately. It's cycles of non-productiveness and then intense periods of creativity. So right now I'm just soaking it all in.
Doing what, though? When you say you just live, where? Like what?
I did do one thing. I just completed a short feature movie, 35 millimeter in color, called Highway, HWY, with a few friends of mine. And we got the first answer print day before yesterday, and it should be ready next week. I think it's quite good, too. It's about 60 minutes long.
What's it about?
Essentially, there's no plot, no story in a traditional sense. A person, played by me, comes down out of the mountains and hitchhikes his way through the desert into a modern city, which happened to be L.A., and that's where it ends. It's a very beautiful film.
You were just in it, or what else did you do with it? Anything?
There were 4 guys that made it, me and 3 other guys, and we all just kind of made it together. It started out, I had an idea for a film about a hitchhiker who becomes a mass murderer, you know, the kind of thing that happens every year or so. Kind of like the Zodiac character, you know, except, you know, Stark Weather and Billy Cook, and I mean, it happens every couple of years. And so we went out in the desert to start shooting it. While we were out there, the film took over and just went in its own direction, and became something a little different. The only thing that, you know, that was left from the original idea was the idea of a hitchhiker.
Do you like appearing in films?
The only reason I did it, to tell you the truth, is because I couldn't think of anyone else to do it, you know, and it was just as easy for me to do it. I might do some films, I don't know.
WPLJ New York.
I'm not that crazy about being an actor. I'd rather be a director or a writer, something like that. But, you know, if I had a chance, I'd probably do a few films. Why not? Shakespeare was an actor when he first came to London, you know.
Are you going to be writing films, though? You have anything in the works?
Yeah, probably. If I do anything in films, it will probably be this script called St. Nicholas that Michael McClure and I wrote, based on his novel The Adept, which hasn't been published yet. It's a contemporary story about a couple of dope dealers that go to the desert to make a score. And if I do anything, that'll probably be the first project.
Are you going to appear in it also?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Sort of sounds like the beginning of Easy Rider.
Yeah, I know, but there's nothing I can do about it. This story was written before Easy Rider was made, you know, and it's just superficial similarities. I know people are going to, you know, call attention to that, you know, but I don't know what to do about it, you know. It's very similar to Easy Rider, you know, in its superficial aspects. Do you know, I read in Daily Variety yesterday, you know, Easy Rider was made for about $385,000. And the estimated gross so far is $50 to $60 million. He said in a religious hushed tone. $50 to $60 million. That's quite a profit margin, my dear.
A lot of bad movies have made that much money too.
Yeah, but they usually cost, you know, $10 or $12 million to make. This is like breaks precedents all over the place, because it's the first, essentially, you know, independent, low-budget feature to really clean up in the old marketplace. It's unusual. It's gonna open the scene up for a lot of people.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper's on another movie already. He's going to shoot one in Peru, I believe.
Great.
About money. Have the Doors become, like, wealthy enough?
Oh yes, I can go into any restaurant in town and order anything I want. And I don't have to go to 50-cent movies anymore either.
No, if you stop now.
I'll never stop. They can't stop me.
No, really, though, if you stop now, have you made enough to stop?
Let me think. No, I'm just so greedy, just the more I can get, the better, just, my ambition is to have a whole bunch of gold bullion. Is that the proper terminology? Big gold bars, I'd like to have a big gold bar, big chunks of gold, just to have around the house. And,
Now, look, a lot of the groups that I've talked to, they say that they have a lot of trouble holding on to money.
Well, that's their fault. They're probably spendthrifts, It's like giving whiskey to an Indian.
So you don't want to talk about money?
Oh, sure. What do you want to know?
Have you held on to your money?
Let's put it this way. I think with our, with our economic system, and tax structure, all that, I don't think it's possible ever to just retire and never work, because the economy keeps increasing. If you drop out of the economy, then it just passes you up, in a couple of years, and you're left high and dry. I don't think it's possible to retire in a capitalistic society. But I enjoy talking about money, Howard.
Obviously.
What do you want to know? You want to,
I'll
get my accountant down here and show you my bank statement.
No, but, you read about groups like the Beatles. I interviewed Mick Jagger the other day, and he also said, it's almost impossible. You work, and where's the money? So the Birds one time went on a tour for 30 days, made $300,000, came back, added everything up, and they had spent $300,000 in that 30 days.
Yeah, and look where it got them. I think, I dig money because I've always said this. Money does beat soul every time. Not only that, it's a form of communication, and besides that, if you run into some good luck and you get some money, right? Then I think you should just keep pouring it back into creative ventures. Just as soon as you get it, don't go out and buy a bunch of diamond rings and stuff, but pour it back into creative ventures, that are creating new things, and you can't ever go wrong, Do you have any more scintillating questions?
Yeah, I want to ask you some more things.
Okay. Of course, you can't use any of this. This is just a rehearsal for the real one.
Jim, is it all right if I go off on my creative venture right now?
Did you remember Terry from last night?
Last night.
Oh, was that you?
if one of your
That
creative...
human room, man.
They go off and create, is that you?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
May I?
Yeah.
I'm going to go right now.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about to talk to you.
Oh, well, give me that. So go get that tape. I didn't recognize you with your hair wet.
Yeah, well, you know. It's raining now.
In watching you perform on stage, I got a funny, similar kind of feeling as I'm having now during this interview. You know, it's sort of a disdain for the audience, and I'm feeling it directed at me now also. What do you feel now? Like the questions aren't worthy enough, or what?
Hey, listen, man. This has been probably one of the most exciting interviews I've ever participated in. You're getting the benefit of my grand Irish wit all over the place. And you call it disdain. Well, you want to arm wrestle? Huh? What do you want, man? Go ahead, ask me something else. Well, I won't be disdainful. I'm sorry if I was disdainful.
Do all of you still get along? Or did you not get along, or what? You know, because that's another thing. When I talk to a lot of the groups, they talk about how the biggest problem is just getting along with each other.
Well, you know, it's like being married or being a member of a family. You know, there's always strife. You know, people that live together fight a lot. But I've noticed that we went through a period of kind of, it was really getting strained, and in the last few months, everything is really smoothed out. I think when you're creating well, when the music is going well, everybody's happy. It's only when, when your creativity kind of dies off a little bit, then everybody starts feeling the strain, you know. But the relations are very good these days.
Do you see the Doors going on for a long time?
I have no idea, really. I reasonably project at least another 7 or 8 years, but beyond that, I don't know.
But you do see it that far?
Sure.
That whole thing that happened in Miami, is that still pending?
Mm-hmm. I have to, well, you know, it's still up in the air right now, but there'll probably be a big trial, you know. And I guess the best thing would be just to, you know, I might even buy a suit, you know, to make a good impression on the judge and the jury and everything, you know. Suit and a tie. What kind of a suit? Kind of a conservative, dark blue suit. Not one of those paisley ties, but more of a, just, you know, I like instead of those real thin ties, I like a big fat tie, you know, with a great big knot. Right, you know. I think I'll get a suit and take a lot of tranquilizers and just try and have a good time. Maybe I'll keep a diary of the whole thing and publish it in Esquire or something. You know, my impressions of my hanging.
Is a trial date set?
No.
Is there still a warrant out?
Yeah. Hey, man, you're putting me on a bummer. Let's get on to another subject, all right? It's a rainy day in L.A., and you're talking about all this horrible nonsense. Let's talk about something light.
Like what?
Kathy, what was I talking about just before they came in? I was, remember? Let's see. Anybody have anything they want to talk about?
A loaded question, Baker.
How about,
Tell about your new movie.
I already did. How about
the film festival?
I already told them about that. How about, let's see.
Tell about the screenplay with Michael.
I already told them that. Let's see, how about... Well, let's talk about you, Howard. So you write a column for the Village Voice. It comes out of New York. Scenes, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have a radio program. Is that a midnight show or...
No, it goes on all day.
All
About
day?
14 cities now. Yeah.
Is that AM or FM?
FM.
FM. WABC FM. On your radio dial. And so you go around interviewing people.
You're going around putting people uptight, is what it seems like.
I bet you met a lot of famous people in your travels, Howard.
But none as famous as you.
Why, thank you.
There's Luella Parsons in Hollywood.
There must be an exciting career to travel around the country interviewing famous people like me.
Not anywhere as exciting as going around the country putting on people.
Oh, and that is the most, that's the most, shocking thing I've ever heard you say.
I don't know. I mean, really, all kidding aside, I find it pretty hard to get a straight answer. What do you think I was going to ask you?
It's a funny thing. I've noticed that when people are joking, they're usually dead serious. And when they're dead serious, it's usually pretty funny. So I think anything you say means exactly what you say, and it's opposite.
Looking at my questions, and I feel boxed in. They're all negative questions. You know, and you're gonna...
Are you hungry?
Why do you ask that?
Well, maybe we could order out for some sandwiches or some chicken delight or something. You're not hungry? Or, how about you? Are you hungry? Oh, it's lunchtime. Did you have breakfast this morning? You did? What'd you have?
Oh, little things like chocolate cake and tea here.
Is that all you had?
Yeah.
Hey, you should eat more, Howard.
You put on a lot of weight. Are you eating a lot?
Well, you know, that's something that really bothers me. What's wrong with being fat? That's what I want to know. Why is there such...
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
Why is it so onerous to be fat? I don't see anything wrong with fat. You know? I mean, I remember when I used to weigh 185 pounds. I'm the same height. I was the same height that I am now, and I weighed 185 pounds. And I was going to college, and I had this food ticket at the cafeteria. And the cafeteria food is mainly all based on starch. You know, it's cheap food, right? And so I don't know what it was, but in order, I don't know, I just felt like I was, if you missed your meal, you just, you know, I just figured, well, I was getting screwed, right? If I missed a meal, I just blew it. So I'd get up at 6:30 every morning just to make breakfast, right? Eggs and grits and sausages and toast and milk. Okay. Then I'd go do a few classes, and I'd make it in there for lunch. Mashed potatoes. Every now and then they'd put a little piece of meat in something, Then I'd go to a few more classes, and then I'd go to dinner, and it was more of mashed potatoes. And so about 3 months later, I was 185 pounds. And you know what? I felt so great. I felt like a tank, I felt like a large mammal, a big beast. When I moved through the corridors or across the lawn, I just feel like I could knock anybody out of my way, I was solid, man. It's terrible to be thin and wispy because, you could get knocked over by a strong wind or something, Fat is beautiful.
How much do you weigh now?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I guess somewhere in the neighborhood of about 150.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You want to compare biceps? You want that arm wrestling match, Howard? Are you ready? Are you in shape?
Yeah.
Well, what are the interviews over?
Back at the beginning with the Doors, you seemed to be model of the year. You couldn't pick up a fashion magazine or some magazine without those sultry pictures.
Sulky, too.
Yeah, right. More sulky than sultry.
Sordid?
Sulky.
Well, I was in vogue,
What'd that mean to you, though, at that time?
I don't know, I must have been out of my mind to do that. Can you imagine doing that?
No, that's why I'm asking you.
Posing for a picture? Can you imagine? And really looking in the camera and really posing? It's insane. I must have been out of my mind. If I had the whole thing to do over again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
What'd you think, though, at the time?
I thought I knew what I was doing, I thought, I knew what I was doing. And then the horrible thing about a photograph is once it's done, you can't destroy it. It's there forever. So can you imagine when I'm 80 years old and I have to look at myself, posing for these pictures and everything? It's too late. This guy's trying to put me on a bummer, man. That's all right, Howard. Go ahead.
Also, at the beginning, there was all this talk about your sex appeal. About how all women of different ages. In fact, I wrote that in The Voice way before, pretty early.
That's another thing, see? Talk gets around, crazy talk like that. What happens? I mean, that's a difficult burden to bear, It really is. Because we all know no one's any sexier than anyone else, right? Everybody's got the same equipment, unless, biologically you got mixed up or something. We're all about the same.
Yeah, but I mean, there you were with the leather pants.
Yeah, it was guys like you, man. It's the reporters, it's the press, people like that create this this insanity, you know, that make up this stuff, and then people start believing it, you know.
Why, you weren't consciously playing that?
Hell no.
And you didn't dig it?
Well, I must admit that there were occasions when having a reputation like that did help me out in some tight situations. And plus, I got to meet a lot of groovy ladies that otherwise I would, you know, they probably wouldn't even have noticed me, you know. So, in that respect, it was all to the good.
Before you were talking about college, where'd you go to school?
Let's see. There's so many schools. I traveled around a lot as a child, and I went to so many schools, about one school, different school a year, or every year and a half I'd go to a different one. I finished up at UCLA.
What, you went all the way to the degree?
Yep.
Did you learn anything? I mean, was it worth going to school?
No, I didn't learn too much. The only reason I did it was because I didn't want to go in the Army, and I didn't want to work, and school was fairly easy for me, so I just kept doing it. And that's the damn truth.
Is there any way that you can see that school could work?
If they have a good library, that's about it. It's, you know, or unless you want to be an engineer, a scientist, something like that, I think you could learn a lot. You know, they have all the equipment and professors and all that, but I think the main key to education is just reading, basically. You could do the same thing on your own.
In performing, you've performed in a lot of countries other than here?
Not too many, really. Mexico City, Canada, London, Frankfurt, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and Stockholm. But most of the United States.
Are audiences the same everywhere?
Nope, they're not. They're not the same. London, they're very, very hip over there. And in Frankfurt, I noticed that they were quite rude. The people in Stockholm were nice. Mexico City, well, you know, rather boisterous. You know, they drink a lot and really, you know, yell and everything. We're going to try and go to Japan for that expo thing, play there, and we're going to go to Australia. And I like traveling around, you know. That's the best part of this business is, you know, you get to change your locale a lot. Kathy, could I have more coffee?
Sure.
Coffee's really dangerous.
Man, I'm finally starting to wake up, Howard. Let's get into some heavy stuff now.
How did the Doors come about in the first place, then? Was it while you were still in college?
No, it was after I got out of college, and I wanted to see. I finished up in the film school because I wanted to make movies. So you know how difficult it is to break into the movie game. So I just kind of wandered around. I was living down at the beach in abject poverty, and just kind of, for no reason at all, I started writing some songs. They just kind of popped into my head. And I ran into Ray, who was at the film school also, and he'd been working in bands. since he grew up in Chicago, and he'd been doing it for a long time. So I showed him some of the songs, and we said, hey, let's get a band together. So we did.
How did it come about that you were the singer?
Well, I suppose because, the person that writes the songs ought to sing them, because he's the one that, must feel it more than anybody else. So since I was writing most of the songs, I just gradually became the singer.
Back to this performing thing. It turns out that a lot of times concerts have to be canceled for the Doors, right? Like Mexico, I think it was canceled about 3 times before they let you do it.
Well, in Mexico, it's a unique problem because that place is a hotbed of political unrest. Do you know, I heard some stories down there that would curl your hair. Take this. These guys are going to school, college. If one of their friends disappears, if they don't see him for 2 weeks, they just write him off. They say, well, I guess they got him. Do you know, I think when we went down there, it was the anniversary of the first anniversary a year earlier. Something like, the government heard that it's when the Olympics were going on. The government heard the students were going to do a little demonstration, a march, protest. So when the students showed up for the protest, there was an ambush waiting. I think they slaughtered about 2,000 young students. And so, like that, it's a very, bad place for students, or, people against the government. They don't mess around. They just kill you. They go into your house at night and shoot you and your whole family. Of course, that's just hearsay. I can't back that up with any photographs or anything. But that's what I heard.
How long were you down there?
About a week.
Did you have any trouble?
Nope.
How about in other places? It seems since the Miami episode that a lot of places don't want a Doors concert.
It's like a political football, They let us sign up for a concert, and then about 2 days before we show up, the mayor, the sheriff, or somebody, whoever's, wants to get his name in the paper, will try and cancel the show and get everybody all outraged. People like parents that wouldn't even know who we were. All of a sudden they hear that Sheriff Peabody says they shouldn't be allowed to perform. So like that. It's just a political football.
But why the Doors?
I told you we're the band you love to hate. I could write an American folk song. Something that would appeal to everyone. And everyone would say, gee, what a great guy. I put a lot of American eagles in it, and sagebrush, timber, boulders, rivers, mountains, prairies.
Those aren't the only songwriters and singers that I liked.
Who do you like? The best. I'm not talking, no particular age group or style of music or anything, but who do you like the best?
Gus Dillon.
I knew it.
Why'd you know it?
Because your hair is so curly.
Why, who do you like the best?
Oh, let me think. I like old blues singers. And about the best, I like... Stravinsky. I like him. And... who's it? Webern. I like Webern. And let's see, there's one other one I like. I can't think of it right now. If I remember, I'll tell you.
How about rock?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
But who?
I like the early rock and roll people, you know, all the classic dudes. And some of the modern English groups I like. And some of our local talent is also very good. But there's so many good rock musicians and lyricists that it'd be impossible to single any one or two or three out. I mean, they're all really great. I think we have some amazing music happening. When you think about it, the amount of excellent music that's being written, that has been written in just the last 10 years, it boggles the mind.
Do you like Dylan or not?
I must confess I do.
Why do you say that so reluctantly?
I don't know, I went through a period where I didn't like him, and then all of a sudden I started liking him again. I don't know why. I think he just keeps getting better and better.
Before you mentioned this Irishness thing, you know, that your Irish humor, is that the key to getting along with you or understanding you?
Hey, Tom, should we make him an honorary member of our Irish Socialist, Anarchist, Conservative, Revolutionary
To
Party?
be inaugurated, it would take a good evening in the town to determine if he's capable of standing.
That's right, man. You have to, you gotta get smashed and make a fool out of yourself in a
Out of a few bars.
public
I
place.
resign in advance.
You gotta get 86th from 7 nightclubs.
7, not 8. 7.
For him, 7. You know, he doesn't have the Constitution we do. You know, New York, they breathe all that foul air.
Oh, not like here.
I lived in New York.
Oh, the Irish.
Sure.
Well, you know, they survive anywhere. It's their sense of humor.
I'm beginning to wonder if your closest friends aren't Irish.
Let me think. Yes, I would say that's true. That's about the only people I hang around with, except for the Italians.
Okay. I think I got it.
I think you did too. Yeah.
I got it.